Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you will all be fine and you must be preparing for your exam because your exams are getting nearer and nearer day by day. So it is very important just to go through all the topics of grammar, like we have done the kinds of nouns, kinds of pronouns, practice pronouns. So if you do more and more practice, so you'll be able just to identify them. It will be easy for you people just to identify them in your MCQs. This was the main reason for preparing the whole of this program of just English grammar, applied grammar for all the federal board students. So today the topic which I have selected to teach you people are the 8 types of adjectives with their examples. So first of all, we have to see that what is an adjective. Adjective is a word which is used to modify a noun. What does it mean? It means that adjective tells us about the quality of a noun in a sentence. So sometimes it is there to follow a noun. Suppose if I say an ugly boy or a beautiful girl. So in these sentences, beautiful and ugly would be adjectives. But it is not always the case that we find adjectives before a noun. Sometimes it happens that they are there in the sentence and they are there just to modify the noun. Like you can see in the example, the cup is full. Now, in this sentence, full is an adjective, but it is not following any noun at all. But at the same time, it is modifying the noun which is cup in the sentence. So in both ways, you have to keep in mind that adjectives can be there in the sentence, either following the noun before the noun, or whenever a word will be there in a sentence which will be telling us about the quality of the noun, that word in that sentence would be acting as an adjective. Then we come to the types of adjectives. We have these 10 types of adjectives. 9 are written over there, and 10th type we are going to discuss later in the same lecture which we are having today. There are 8 types of adjectives which are briefly discussed over here. So, first of all, we have to go through the names of the adjectives, and then one by one, we are going to discuss them with the help of examples, like proper, descriptive, quantitative, numeral, demonstrative, distributive, interrogative, possessive, degrees of adjectives. And the 10th kind of adjective is degrees of adjectives, which we are going to discuss later. So, first of all, we start with a proper adjective and we have to understand that what is meant by a proper adjective. A proper adjective is always formed or it is always derived from a proper noun. For example, when I say the English, word English is a proper adjective, but it is derived from a proper noun which is England. Fine? When I say Indian, it is derived from a proper noun which is India. When I say Victorian, it is derived from a proper noun which is Victoria. So it means that whenever an adjective would be derived from a proper noun, it will be called a proper adjective. Then we come to the next kind, and that is a descriptive, qualitative, or attributive adjective. I told you, guys, if you remember, that I give you all the names and all the terminologies in this just lecture because any kind of terminology, any word, any name can be used by the examiner. So if you will be familiar with all the names and all the terminologies, only then you will be able to identify them over there in the exam. So a descriptive, qualitative or attributive adjective, they are the adjectives of the same kind and they have their different names. Only names are different, but their function is same in the sentence. Is one that shows the kind and quality of a person or a thing. Yes, all the simple adjectives, which are simply there just to tell the quality of a noun in a sentence, they are called descriptive, qualitative, or attributive adjectives. Like a beautiful child, a careful mother, a flower garden, payday. These are all the adjectives which do not have any other function in the sentence, but they are just there to give the quality of the noun, and they always follow a noun. They are following a noun. Sometimes they follow a noun and sometimes they do not follow a noun. Like before, in the previous slide, I told you that the cup is full. So full would be a descriptive, qualitative, or attributive adjective. Then we come to quantitative adjective. Now, quantitative adjective is always related to the quantity. And quantity is always related to something which is uncountable. This is something, it is a matter of common sense that quantity is always going to be related to something which is uncountable. Right? So whenever you are going to find any adjective which is telling us the quantity of an uncountable noun, it would be a quantitative adjective. Like in the example, he ate much bread, bread cannot be counted. You drink little milk, milk cannot be counted. So much, little, any, these are all the examples of quantitative adjective because they are just telling us the quantity of a uncountable noun. Then we come to the next kind, and that is a numeral adjective. The word numeral is derived from the word number. It is related to number. So the last adjective, the quantitative adjective was related to quantity. So it was dealing with uncountable nouns. But a numeral adjective is dealing with number. So it means that it will be dealing with the countable nouns. How they are dealing with the countable nouns, these are this is what we are going to discuss over here. Like in the first case, they are going to deal with cardinals and ordinals, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 boys, 4 fingers, 2 girls. In this way, they would be there in the sentence. And ordinal means first class, second class, third grade, fourth just a class or fourth position. Whenever such kind of just expressions will be there, they will again be numeral adjectives. Now, the next kind is indefinite numeral adjectives. Why do we call them indefinite numeral adjectives? You will be able to understand the indefinite numeral adjective if you know very well the indefinite pronouns. Because indefinite numeral adjectives and indefinite pronouns are the same, just their usage in the sentence will be different. Indefinite pronouns will be acting as a pronoun in the sentence, and indefinite numeral adjective would be following a noun in order to tell their quality. And they will always follow a countable noun. As you can see that because they are numeral adjectives, they are dealing with number. So indefinite numeral adjective, they will always follow a countable noun. So why do we use indefinite numeral adjective? We use indefinite numeral adjective whenever we have to talk in general, like all, some, enough, none, many, few, several. They are always used with countable nouns. Indefinite pronouns refer to something in general, and these are the examples of indefinite pronouns like somebody, someone, everybody, everyone, nobody, none, all, some, one, few, all, others. So these are all this is the difference between an indefinite numeral adjective and indefinite pronoun. Then we come to the next kind, and that is indefinite pronouns act as a pronoun, but indefinite numeral adjective always come before a noun to modify it. This is the main difference between indefinite pronouns and indefinite numeral adjectives. Otherwise, the words or the examples of both indefinite pronouns and indefinite numeral adjectives are same. Now we come to a demonstrative adjective. Again, if you remember the kinds of pronouns, we did the demonstrative pronouns. And at that time, I told you that we have 4 demonstrative pronouns like this, that, these, those. Such is also there as a demonstrative pronoun. But at that time, it was a pronoun. And in these sentences, in these examples, you can see that all these demonstrative adjectives, this, that, these, those, such, they are following a noun like boy, person, boys, people. So whenever a demonstrative pronoun would be following a noun, it will become a demonstrative adjective. A distributive adjective. Again, we have four distributive just adjectives, each, every, either, neither. And same is the case over here, that in the case of the pronoun, again, we had four, each, every, either, neither distributive distributive pronouns. But whenever each will be following a noun, like each boy, every girl, either accusation, neither just judgment. In these all these examples, when these four distributive adjectives will be following a noun, they will be a distributive adjective. Otherwise, if they are not following a noun, they will be distributive pronoun. An interrogative adjective. Interrogative word is telling us that they are always used to ask a question. I told you that all the question words, they are interrogative pronouns. But whenever interrogative pronouns follow a noun, like whose pen. Now this in this example, whose is following pen, which is a noun over here. So whenever an interrogative pronoun will be following a noun, it will become an interrogative adjective. Whose pen, what book, which flower. These are all the question words and they are following a noun, so they become an interrogative adjective. Then we come to possessive adjectives like my, our, your, his, her, its, their. These are all the possessive adjectives whenever they are following a noun like my cook, our class, your house, his just attitude, or her just doll, its color, or their house. In all these examples, you see that all these possessive adjectives, they are following a noun. So whenever after my a noun will be there, like my house, it will become a possessive adjective. Then we come to the next kind, and that is degrees of comparison. The first degree, which is called positive degree means that this degree is just there in the sentence, just to tell the quality of a noun. No comparison is there, no nothing is there. So this is the reason that it is just there to tell us the quality of the noun. So this is the reason that we call it a positive degree of adjective. Then we come to the next kind, and that is comparative degree of adjective. The comparative degree of the adjective is used when two person or things are compared. This is something, it is a matter of common sense that comparison is always done between two things. So whenever a comparison will be done between two things, we need a comparative degree of the adjective. Like you can see, longer words, more studious, more beautiful. So we have two categories. Sometimes we have regular comparative degree of adjective, like long, longer, longest, short, shorter, shortest. They are called regular comparative degree of adjectives. But when we have bad, worse, worst, good, better, best, they are called irregular degree of adjectives. They are called irregular comparative degree of adjectives. This is the main difference between it. Then we come to the last degree of adjective, that is called superlative degree of adjective. In the previous slide, we just learned about the comparative degree when the comparison was done between two things. But in this case, when the comparison is done among three or more nouns or subjects, then we have to use the superlative degree. And the best way to recognize the superlative degree is that it is always going to be followed by the. Without the, if you use the superlative degree without this definite article, which is the over here, it is going to be a wrong expression. This is what you have to keep in mind, especially the second year students, those who have the correction passage and they have to just correct the passage, they always remember this thing, that the superlative degree is always followed by the definite article, which is the. So this was the main thing which we have discussed over here. I hope that you have understood all the concepts and all the just kinds of adjectives very well. In the next lecture, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to practice the adjectives. I have selected all these sentences from your past papers, from your MCQs, and inshallah ta'ala, in the next lecture, we are going to discuss them one by one, and I'm going to tell you their answers with the help of discussion. These are the sentences again I have selected from your Brennan Martin, because most of the time from Brennan Martin we have the sentences in the paper. Again, these are the sentences from the Brennan Martin. So inshallah, in the next lecture we are going to discuss all these sentences one by one, all these past paper sentences one by one. So your idea of the types of adjectives is going to be more clear. But before coming to the practice sentences, your concept of the adjective and pronouns should be very much clear, because with the help of comparison, you would be able just to identify them, that which are the adjectives and which are the pronouns. So till then, inshallah ta'ala, we are you just keep on with your just preparation, and in the next lecture we will again start with the practice adjective. Allah Hafiz from my side, students. May God bless you and keep you in His kind care.